Hello again, YouTube. I'm back with another project dealing with the car here. This time I'm experimenting with these hydrogen generators. I don't know if you can see that. Right, if you look right here, I have one of those hydrogen dry cells that you can get off the internet, off YouTube and so forth. And I got it mounted on the inside of my bumper well area here. This is my bumper cover, and on the inside, next, in front of the radiator, I've got it mounted. And I also have a bubbler right there that I've got mounted on also. The thing is with these hydrogen kits is trying to find a place where you can actually mount it in your car with the limited space that you have, and the limited areas, in the sense that obviously you don't want to mount anything near the exhaust manifold because of the heat, and you don't want to mount it I don't want to mount anything next to the battery, but still. Anyway, this is a typical dry cell that you can get off of eBay, or you could buy these kits on the internet. With the bubbler and the wiring and stuff like that. You can see where my bubbler here is mounted here, and it's going into my air intake right here. I've mounted it with some really heavy duty tubing, vinyl tubing here, heavy duty. So if you want to do it, make sure you get the right type of tubing. Now, and I also purchased a PWM. This is a KZX 1250. You can get it off the internet and so forth. It's supposed to be the intelligent PWM, or pulse width modulator. This controls the current that's being goes to my hydrogen dry cell, and it's supposed to protect the electrical system, and also to some degree, and also help with keeping the current constant at the dry cell. Without this, you have the danger of what they call thermal runaway, meaning your cell is going to get too hot and it'll burn up, and there's some other consequences that come with burning up your car. You can see all the wires that I've got running in there. Now, I also, in conjunction with this, I also had to get a relay. So this is with this unit right here, it says that you don't really have to use a relay because it has the protection features built in. But I kind of wanted the extra protection, so I went the route of I got a relay here. This is just a standard 40 amp relay, and it's tied into my fuse box here. The control circuit, it's in the fuse box. So the cell, right here, it doesn't come on. It will not come on until the vehicle is turned on. So if the vehicle's turned off, then the cell is off. And in conjunction with the cell, I also have I don't know if you can see it right there, but that's a circuit breaker. A 40 amp circuit breaker. So at 40 amps, if this thing does have the thermal runaway, then it will basically fault, or it'll kick in and break the circuit. So hence circuit breaker. So I wanted the extra protection. So this thing, because this is dangerous, this is by far I've got wires running everywhere, and so forth. But as far as the idea of this hydrogen with the vehicle, it's a fun project. Yeah, it is fun, but you really got to know what you're doing on this thing. You really got to know what you're doing. I burned up fuses. I even burned out a relay. I've burned some wires. Seriously, this thing it's dangerous. It is very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. A lot of videos on YouTube, they show you this stuff, and they show you and they tell you, gee, look how easy it is to hook it up. Yeah, it's easy to hook it up, and it's also easy to burn up your car. Again, you need to hook this thing up correctly. If you don't, you can risk burning up your car. The mixing of the electrolyte solution, that is the most important aspect of everything. Well, along with wiring it correctly, but mixing up the electrolyte solution is incredibly important. If you put too much electrolyte in there, or too much catalyst, You can, you know, it will pull the PWM, or the cell will pull more current than it needs to. So that right there is incredibly important. Now, some people use baking soda, some people use vinegar, or some other stuff, tap water to mix up the electrolyte, but you know, I highly do not recommend that. I use this stuff. This is, you know, this is potassium hydroxide, or KOH. Some people use sodium hydroxide. I use potassium hydroxide. This stuff is very caustic, and if you get it on your hand, you will know it. So, you know, these are just potassium hydroxide, KOH flakes. Now, the reason I use this and distill water, do not use tap water. I don't care what video you see. Don't use tap water, don't use baking soda or anything like that. If you're going to do this, use either potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide. Don't use anything else, because that way, you know, you won't get the crud in your tank. It won't turn colors. And if you use potassium hydroxide, it stays in the water. All you have to do is just, you know, add more water. If you will get, you know, a lot more HHO, or hydrogen oxide. But the point are, they call it Brown's gas or whatever. Now, also, if you're considering this, you know, don't buy I wouldn't recommend buying the pieces piecemeal. I would buy the kit, you know, and with the instructions on how to set it up and everything. I would go with one of a reputable vendor, or online vendor, that actually sells the kits. As far as the cells, I would recommend a dry cell, and you know, one that will fit on the inside of your car so you can mount it, you know, correctly. Also, as far as a pulse width modulator, do not get a cheap one. Don't skimp on that. Okay, I highly recommend. I bought one. It wasn't so cheap, but it was okay, but it didn't do what I needed it to do, or made it better yet. I probably just didn't know what I was doing. Get a good one. This one right here is a good one. Also, when you're tying it in, also, you know, get the safety stuff. This is a, you know, a one-way valve. I'm using it as a flashback arrestor. It should work. It should work fine. Now, this right here is my bubbler and electrolyte chamber as well. I mean, you know, I'm using, this thing is pulling double duty. This is for the HHO that's coming in from the cell, and this right here goes out and into my intake. My intake system right there. So the point is, yeah, it's fun, but this thing is incredibly dangerous. Also, if you're going to do this, you know, you're going to need a relay. You're definitely going to need a relay. So I highly recommend you get a relay, and also, you know, some type of safety, you know, fuse or something like that. If it, you know, that's critical. That's very critical. Okay. All right, YouTube. You know, again, this is a dangerous proposition, and do I recommend this? If you know what you're doing, it'll be a fun project. If you don't know what you're doing, don't even attempt to do it until you do, because this thing is dangerous. Okay. All right. Take care, YouTube.